Okay, you're good.
Did you know that if you add copper chloride to the chemical equation for a firework, you can make the firework blue? It's from the National Inventors Hall of Fame 2023. When mixing these together, chemists have to make sure they have the right amount of each element to ensure they are making the right product. The chemical equation is the same as a chemical reaction. You add 1 and 1, you get something new. Hello, I'm Charlotte Parker, a junior currently enrolled in my high school chemistry class. Over the course of the school year, I have balanced well over 100 chemical equations. Learning how to balance a chemical equation is a huge part of chemistry. It's important to know that you have to balance it so you make the right thing. Balancing a chemical equation involves adjusting the amounts or coefficients of reactants and products. A reactant is a substance that takes part in and undergoes change during a reaction. An example of this is hydrogen plus oxygen. And then a product is a substance that is formed as a result of the reaction. So it would be water or H2O. One major comparison I hear most often is that baking is similar to chemistry, which is correct, and here is why. In order to get the recipe correct, you have to balance out the ingredients, in our case, chemicals. Once you have the ingredients balanced, you get the right thing. So if you have too much water to cookies, you'll get flat cookies, but if you add the right amount and balance them out evenly, you'll get fluffy cookies that are chewy and nice and warm. The chemical equation we'll be looking at today is KNO3 plus C plus S plus CuCl2 plus K2SO4 plus CO2 N2 plus CuO and KCl. In English, this would be potassium nitrate plus carbon plus sulfur and plus copper chloride is equal to potassium sulfate, carbon dioxide plus nitrogen plus copper oxide and plus potassium chloride. The law of conservation of mass, which I kind of brought up earlier, is during a chemical reaction, the total mass of the products must be equal to the total mass of the reactants, and this is Chemistry Libre Text 2025. It is important to note that matter cannot be created nor destroyed, it can only be rearranged. This is all the pictures of the chemicals and their charges, which is important to note for how to balance a chemical equation, because the charges can change how many of each thing there are in the chemical equation. So moving on to how many is on each side of the chemical equation, on the reactant side, we have 1 potassium, 1 nitrogen, 3 oxygen, 1 carbon, 1 sulfur, 1 copper, and 2 chloride. And then on the product side, we have 3 potassium, 2 nitrogen, 7 oxygen, 1 carbon, 1 sulfur, 1 copper, and 1 chloride. From this, you can tell that you definitely have to try and balance them out because you have 3 potassium on the product side and 1 on the reactant side. The parts that we'll be looking at are KNO3 plus KNO3 and then CuCl2 because they are combined together on the other side with K2SO4 and CuO and KCl. So all together, it's like you have to do them all at once, otherwise it's just a lot. Now that you know how to balance a chemical equation, you have to find the common factor for each and multiply to get the same on each side. You have to. The answer is 10 KNO3 plus 8 carbon plus 3 sulfur plus 5 copper chloride is equal to 2 potassium sulfate plus 6 CO2 plus 5 N2 plus 5 CuO and then plus 10 KCl. Now that you know the fully balanced equation is, I hope you use this information to make as many colored fireworks as you please and I guess how to balance a chemical equation. Now you have to remember the safety in balancing a chemical equation because if you don't, they can be catastrophic products involved. You just have to make sure to do it right. To sum things up, balancing any chemical equation is not just to know how to do it. It is important and necessary skill to understand the behavior of matter inside of chemical reactions. Important parts to remember when balancing a chemical equation are: start off by writing the balanced equation out, count the atoms on each side of the equation, identify imbalances, and adjust these using coefficients, never change subjects, and triple check your work. These are my resources. And again, I know you expect me to say don't try this at home. However, you don't listen to me and do try this at home. I hope you remember how to balance a chemical equation before attempting this. Thank you for listening and have a great rest of your day.